Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shirin Saluja, and on this channel we talk about self-love in the most radical way, which essentially means that self-love is the ultimate act of self-discipline. And today I want to talk about why you absolutely must forgive your toxic ex-boyfriend. Holding a grudge against someone is like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. This quote is so apt. I don't know who said it first, but it totally drives home the point that I'm going to make in today's video. Forgiveness is that one step which can help you manifest a completely different reality. It will help you manifest different relationships, fulfilling relationships, harmonious relationships in the future. Do you find yourself always being in a relationship with that same kind of emotionally unavailable man or woman? Are you attracted to, or do you keep attracting the same type of guy or girl in your life? If you are aware enough to observe that you are basically attracting different people, but it is the same unavailable energy, then congratulations, you have taken the first major step towards change. Forgiveness is not letting the other person off the hook. Forgiveness is simply freeing yourself from creating the same old reality again and again and again. Forgiveness is the ultimate act of self-love. It is the smartest thing that you can do. It is a shortcut towards creating a completely different reality. It is the quickest way you can release old karma. It is the quickest way you can balance it out. So if you've gone through one major heartbreak, by now I'm sure we all have, you need to forgive the very guy who broke your heart. You need to forgive the guy who ripped your heart out. You need to forgive the guy who shredded your heart into a million pieces. And by forgiveness, I don't mean that you become his BFF and that you start talking to him every single day and you start hanging out with him again. That is not forgiveness. Forgiveness simply means that you are completely neutral and indifferent. Forgiveness means that you stop thinking about this guy obsessively. And even when you do think about him, there is no emotional charge there. Good or bad, doesn't matter. You are completely indifferent. You are completely neutral. In your head, you don't keep plotting revenge. In your head, you don't keep visualizing situations where you run into this guy and he finally sees your worth and he apologizes to you. You don't think about how ugly his current girlfriend is. You don't keep thinking about how he could have done things differently. You don't keep thinking about what he did or did not do for you. You are more focused on your own life. That is forgiveness. Before I dive into how forgiveness works, I want to take a minute and acknowledge your pain. Your pain is justified, it's real, it's there for a reason, and this video is not diminishing your pain at all. In fact, acknowledging and embracing your pain is the first step towards forgiveness anyway. So let's take a look at how forgiveness works. Okay, so this guy broke your heart. He was an absolute to you. Agreed. Now, what is your primary inner dialogue about this situation? In your head, do you keep saying stuff like, how could he do this to me? I will never forgive him. I hope he suffers just the way I did. I just don't understand how ugly his current girlfriend is. Like, what does he see in her? So let's assume that your primary dialogue in your head is, how could he do this to me? By the law of attraction, you are then attracting more such situations into your life where you will keep saying, how could he do this to me? Or keep thinking, how could he do this to me? Like attracts like. You create your reality based on the thoughts that you think repeatedly. So if this is what you're thinking, if this is what you're feeling, if this is the story that you're telling yourself and other people in your life, then this is what you're creating for the future as well. So what essentially happens is you think a thought which is disempowering. Then you think more thoughts, because like attracts like. So more thoughts come into your head and then more people come into your life with similar thoughts. Similar thoughts group together and then they gain momentum. We group with our girlfriends who have been through similar experiences, and then we start sharing our experiences. And now there are online forums where you can go and talk about your experiences with emotionally unavailable men, narcissists, so on and so forth. There is a lot of passion when you talk about your heartbreak. And now you're doing it with other people who have been through something similar. You're just talking about your pain and you get stuck there. So obviously you're going to create more situations like those in future. Once you start thinking disempowering thoughts, you start feeling disempowering emotions such as lack, such as abandonment, anger, fury, helplessness, grief, depression. So these emotions are the fuel for these thoughts. Then these emotions make you take some action, which is also reckless and disempowering. For example, in this state, from this state, you go and hook up with the next available guy. You don't take time, you don't bother screening him, and this guy was in it just for the sex, so he does not call you back. And you have an experience. And that experience is similar to what you've been experiencing before. If your primary inner dialogue was, how could he do this to me? Your primary inner dialogue after this experience will also be, how could he do this to me? It will then reinstate your belief that all men are and that, how could he do this to me? It will reinstate your victim narrative. This, my friend, is what I call the vicious cycle of your victim mentality. It is a never-ending loop unless you identify it and then take steps to rectify it, to break that pattern. Just like other bad habits, this is a bad habit. This is just a pattern. So take a step back and see if you are playing the victim role, if you are living in that victim mentality. We become the leading actor of our victim motion picture. It's so easy to get sucked back into our victim narratives. I still struggle with it till date. I have no problems in admitting that. On the screen somewhere now, I'm going to pop this chart of emotional states. And this was created by David Hawkins for his book Power versus Force. Now, as you can see, the bottom of this chart is a low vibe state and the top of this chart is a high vibe state. So low vibe state consists of emotions such as guilt, shame, anger, apathy. And then as you see, you move up and up and up, and there comes neutrality and then acceptance. And this is where forgiveness happens. You forgive when you accept. And it's so interesting that right after acceptance, you start moving into emotions of love, peace, joy, compassion, enlightenment. This is not a random arrangement of emotions and states. This is how it works. This is how you go up and up and up. There is a sequence to feeling a certain way. Even on the scale, forgiveness is literally, acceptance is literally the doorway to feeling, to moving into a high vibe state. From this video, if you take away one thing today is remember this chart, remember this sequence, and see how forgiveness, acceptance is right in the middle. It is the doorway, it is the missing link. So now that you have understood how forgiveness works, you decide to forgive him. And you forgive him. And with that, you forgive yourself. Why do you need to forgive yourself, you may ask? For being naive, for wasting our time, for not understanding his true intentions. So forgive yourself as well in the process. You may need to forgive his current girlfriend. He may have cheated on you with her, so forgive her too. Reach that state of neutrality and acceptance. Let's say you have forgiven all the parties involved. Now, you will start to think different thoughts. These thoughts are going to be high vibe in nature. They are going to be thoughts of love, compassion, joy, peace. So you're going to be feeling different emotions. You're not going to be feeling disempowered. You're going to be feeling empowered now. And from these empowered emotions of love, peace, and joy, you will take different action. I'll give you a simple example. Now you meet another guy, and this time you don't rush things. You don't jump into bed with him. You screen him first. You see all the red flags and you don't ignore them. You simply let this guy go. Because now you're not feeling disempowered. You're feeling empowered. Your self-esteem goes up. So if this time things don't work out, you simply say, I met this guy. We went out on a few dates and he just wasn't the right fit for me. So I let him go. So earlier, your primary dialogue was, how could he do this to me? Whereas now, your dialogue is simply, he wasn't the right fit for me, so I let him go. There's a small change, yet it is a very significant change. Now it is coming from a place of acceptance. Now it is coming from a place of self-love. You're not focused on the lack. You're not focused on what he did not do for you or how he wasn't to you. You are more focused on taking care of yourself. You're more focused on living on purpose. You're more focused on self-love. Forgiving someone who has broken your heart is very difficult, and yet it is so crucial. And it's not just about forgiving that toxic ex-boyfriend. While you're forgiving people in your life, make sure you forgive yourself too. Make sure you forgive your parents, your siblings. Is there somebody at work that you need to forgive? Is there a friend that you need to forgive? Relationships are crucial in every person's life. And when your relationships are fulfilling, they are in harmony, that's when you feel good. If your relationships are not where they should be, then chances are you're holding on to old resentment, old grudges. So, as you accept things for what they are, as you move towards neutrality, as you let go, and as you forgive people, you start changing your reality. Your existing relationships might improve, or you might attract new people into your life who are also operating in a high vibe state. And then together you create some high vibe, fulfilling relationships. Forgiving people is a process, it is intentional, it is a decision, it is a lifestyle, and it is not easy and it takes a while. So, I have 5 amazing techniques that you can apply in your life if you are in the process of forgiving people. I am going to make a separate video talking about these 5 techniques in detail. I don't want to add the techniques to this video, as this video will then become super long and I don't want anyone to get overwhelmed with the amount of information. So stay tuned for that video. That's the next one that's coming on my channel very soon. That is it for today's video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.